Ruben Vardanyan just landed in Montevideo, Uruguay. He's now one of the vice presidents, I think senior vice president of the AGBU. So together with Bert Setragian, Sam Simonian, they're in Argentina visiting all the communities. And he's been kind enough between airplane flight, hotel, and the first meeting to give us 15 minutes. So you'll bear with us as we wait for him. David Yan, Ruben Vardanyan introduced me to David Yan. And what was very interesting to me was the similarity in conversations that we had, the conversation that I have with Ruben and the conversation that I had with David. And that's why I thought this conversation this way would perhaps be interesting. Before I do that, waiting for Ruben to connect, you will know that before I will. I just want to say something that I said this morning, and that is that as we were planning Innovate, it was very important to do two things. One is to try to connect to all of the people in our world with whom we're not necessarily directly connected. And the other is to remember that beyond this event and this environment and these wonderful ideas, there is a country, there is a world with a whole lot of security and human rights issues, and there is a country with a lot of security and human rights issues. And life and history being what they are, today is that day. There's fighting along the entire Karabakh Azerbaijan front line, and whether we know it or not, agree with it or not, like it or not, at the end of the day, that is going to have so much bearing on our concept of our identity. And we here have a role, all of us watching this day, all of us everywhere have a role in reinforcing the peace that our boys will bring. But it's our job to reinforce it. And I can't let the day go by without saying this a couple of times, because I think we need to remember that we're connected. The Yan at the end or at the beginning of all of our names connects us. So that's just the statement that had to be said before. I'm afraid we start talking, we may not, I don't know how to do this, but I will tell you what I'm going to ask Ruben first and David, and that is your definition of the 21st century Armenian identity. That's what I'm going to ask Ruben as well. So maybe we sit down, and as soon as we see him connect, I'll jump back up. How's that? Actually, you should sit in the middle. Okay. You're the guest. That's my question. Your definition of the 21st century Armenian, what identity? What's the definition? What's the vision? What's the concept?
Well, I think that identity of person is formed from two things, from what is happening today and what happened in the past. So I think that Armenia has completely unique history from Christianity and before, and which brought our nation to these days. This century is different from all previous centuries, because now people are virtually connected. They are 1.6 billion people sitting in Facebook, billion people sitting in other messengers, and people can today do together, collaborate completely in different ways and more effectively than it was before. So I think that if we are talking about identity and this century, we need to put our history together with new technologies we have today, new ways of communication, driverless cars, automated drones, speaking conversational refrigerators, artificial intelligent vacuum cleaners, art, music.
Can you tell what he does for a living?
All together now helps us and allows us to create something new.
I know that we try to take advantage of that. I know that without social media that you mentioned, half of you wouldn't be here today. In fact, can I ask you that? How many of you heard about this through social media? Hands, just approximately.
Half.
Half. Thank you. So I know that we try to use it, but I think that, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I think that we use it in silos. You know, I use it for our purpose and she uses it for her purpose, but I don't know that we've mined it enough to use it for collective multiplied effect.
Well, everything works together, so such life events are must. So you can't do everything virtual. People should see each other, people should feel each other, touch, shake hands. So that is same important as being connected after these meetings. So I think what is today's event is important and very important to aggregate and to allow people to create something new.
Do you feel that you have to choose? In other words, do you have to choose, are you Armenian, or are you American, or are you Russian, or are you Chinese? Do you have to choose? Do you feel obligated to choose? Because I think that for generations, especially in the United States, many people have felt they have to choose.
I think I don't, and I think that people should understand they don't. They don't have to choose either. I think they have to choose and either and. So is people here is Vartan. This is Ruben Vardanyan. No, you can't.
Hello.
Aha, perfect. That was a perfect
Hi.
hello.
I cannot hear, but I can understand what you're saying something to me.
I said hello, and before you connected, I explained your life history, at least for today. So everyone understands that we are lucky that you've given us this 15 minutes between Astvatskide what and Astvatskide what. So thank you very much. David and I, can you see David? Can you see both of us? We're both sitting here talking about making choices, identity choices, and whether somebody with David's identity, as complex as it is, somebody like you who has several professional lives, do you have to choose between your identities? What is the 21st century Armenian identity?
Yeah, it's a very difficult question for answering by video Skype. It will take maybe an hour to debate about the identity issue. I think we're all facing, in the world facing big challenge, what means identity, not only Armenians. I think it's your own choice how you want to define who you are and which nation you belong. Because, to be honest, historically, we've been living more identifying ourselves by religion, not by nationality. Until 19th century, most of the Armenians who've been Orthodox saying, I am Armenian, go to an Orthodox church belonging, and Catholic Armenian been different, or the Byzantine Greek Orthodox was different. 19th, 20th century brings the nationality, like identification issue. But today, we're in the 21st century, when is, like you know, Salpi, my wife is a Russian, Lithuanian, Jewish, Finnish mixture. I am myself Georgian, Armenian Georgian, and my son grew up in London and went to American University. His identity coming from his own choice, and he can go to Singapore working for a Brazilian company and holding the English passport. It's becoming a very difficult question who you are from point of the formality, by language, by religion, by place where you pay taxes, or by place where you live. It's becoming a big question. And David is a very good, like another example, being Armenian Chinese from Russia who are living now in America. I think that the difference, I think for all of us, but for some reason, it's continued to surprise me because I've been many times in Georgia and I don't see the same feeling from Georgian, my friends. Armenians have a very strong identity issue. We're saying, despite I'm 1/4 or half Armenian, I'm Armenian by my own choice. And it's not giving any privilege, it's not giving any advantage, except one thing: we are a nation who has a long history, which we're very proud, but also we have something which we can do today with our nation, and we can see how our project can influence of the nation. Like Ayb project is a very good example. If you're doing one school and the school influence of the future of the many kids in Russia or in China or in India, you will do one school or 100 schools, it will be not visible because it will not be transferable. So I say one of the point of the identity is Armenians being unique nation, in one hand being local, and another hand being global. I say I like this terminology is local, because we are one of the few nations who've been before the Facebook, before of the anything was established by elite empire. We've been trading between the Hong Kong, Singapore to Paris, Amsterdam, and we've been accepted by many other nationalities, and we left our heritage all over the globe. That's why. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me?
Absolutely. We hear you.
Hello?
You want
Yes, yes.
Al?
Okay.
Okay,
I
until we
think that-
reconnect.
I think Ruben brought very interesting idea. He's calling.
He's calling. This is like you invite somebody to your house and they cook dinner, right?
So I think Ruben brought very
Hello?
interesting. Ruben,
Yeah, I'm
Can
sorry.
you hear us?
no.
Did you hearing me or not? I don't
No.
know when I lost you.
I guess I should have
You
been
can-
grateful it worked when it did.
Try to reboot Skype.
I'm not.
Try to
Okay, it's a-
switch off and switch on Skype again. So I think that Ruben actually brought a very important concept, which I heard from my friend from Israel, and the concept called think global, act local. So it's we were discussing on some panel that why actually Israel now becomes a world city, a world country of innovations, and why so many startups actually grew up from Israel. And the answer from that VC partner was that Israel is a very small, small country. Local market is small, and every startup which is starting doing business actually has to think about global market. And they do start local. They create software or hardware or any other type of product to meet local needs and to make some neighbors happy. But they never would do that and never would raise enough money if it will be the final destination. They always think about global market. And I think that this probably one, Ruben, can you hear me?
Not very well.
Yeah?
Not very well. I can hear
he
you, but
answered.
Okay, so I think that this is something which also should be applied to every small society, small nation, and to Armenia as well.
So I got to talk
It's a good
here.
question for all of us. I will say yes, partially yes, but also not all the small nations have the same gene what we have. We've been the nation who've been spread around the world. Look last thousands of years, we've been working all over the world. We've been global nation when the time was most of the nations being very local. It's why we are one of the few nations, doesn't matter how big we are or small, we've been always local. We've been local identity with the global positioning. We've been global, living in Hong Kong, Singapore, going to Paris, going to Swaziland, going to Ethiopia. And it's a unique nation in the 17th, can you imagine 17th century, 16th century, we didn't have a state and we were traveling around the world and try to make the trade and try to keep our identity by our language, our religion, and at the same time be accepted and being adopted in a different civilization. We are the nation who've been living in the border of the Persian civilization, Russian civilization, Ottoman Empire civilization, Byzantine civilization, Roman Empire. We've been in the border of the unique civilization, which I say, yes, like many other small nations, we love to talk about us, but I think we have a unique positioning because of geographic in the time and historical heritage we are carrying.
I'm going to stop before I push our luck and thank you for making this happen between all of the things you're juggling. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you, David.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Snarkarsın.
All the best from Montevideo. All the best from Montevideo. Bye-bye.
Thank you.